Hello, welcome to another video. So this video is one that I'm kind of scared about making, let's be honest with you. So I am going to be reading BookTubers' top books of 2024. I've got a list of 21 BookTubers. I basically went through my whole subscription feed on YouTube. Everybody who I subscribed to went on their channels, checked to see if they had got a top books of 2024 video. If they did, I've written down 2 or 3 of their top books. Hey Bella. Their top book, or like a couple others that either are on my TBR or that I have some sort of interest in. I have tried to write down their top book, but again, for some people it was like their favourite book of the year was part of a series, or it's a book that I've read before. So I have got here a whole long list of people and their favourite books. And what I'm going to do is pop up here a screenshot of a spinner wheel that has got all 21 of these names on them. We're then going to go through which book I'm going to be reading. I'm really nervous about this, honestly. This is going to be a big vlog project. I'm planning on getting 5 books read in this vlog, and if you've watched any of my videos, while I do read a lot in a month, I don't ever seem to manage to read more than like 1, maybe 2 books in a vlog. So I don't really know how these two things add up, that I can read 15 books in a month, but I also can only read 1 book a week. Like I don't know how that works, but that's how it works for me. So I'm nervous. If this works well, if I enjoy it, hey, I've got like 16 other names on this list and we can go again. But let's get going. So the first person who comes up on the wheel is Jean at Jean's Thoughts. I am really excited to read a book that Jean recommends. So it is a non-fiction. The 3 that I've got on her list, her top book of the year was Tomorrow Sex Will Be Good. I haven't heard of this one. Her second one was Night Terrors, which again is another non-fiction that I haven't heard of. But her third top book of the year is a book that is on my shelves, and that is Women's Law by Sarah Clegg. This one has been on my shelves for a couple of years. I was working on this one for International Women's Day a year or 2 ago. And yeah, I am excited to get to it. It's not super long. Oh, there's actually a whole like bibliography at the back as well. So it's, if I skip the appendix, it's 246 pages. So it's not long. There are photos in the middle. This book is about women through mythology and lore who have been villainized and demonized, and kind of the original stories behind them. So book number 1 is going to be Women's Law by Sarah Clegg. Hello. So we are starting the month off reading Women's Law. So I'm up to my first stopping points. I'm up to chapter 4, which is about 87 pages in. This book's about 250 pages, so I'm trying to read about 75, 80-ish pages a day and trying to get it read this weekend. Please ignore Bracken. Sweetie, stop it. We've been on a long walk this morning. She decided to jump in a very muddy puddle after being bathed yesterday. I'll pop in a clip just now. And is now grumpy about the fact that she's in her bed because she's filthy. Anywho. So, yeah, I'm at my first stopping point of Women's Law. This book is very niche. If you are interested in mythology and you are interested in the perception of women throughout mythology, you will love this book. For me, I don't have the biggest interest in mythology. I have a passing interest in mythology. I enjoy mythology, but it's not something that I'm like constantly gravitating towards. So for me at the moment, this is interesting, but only sort of, I guess, sort of like surface level interesting. I'm interested, I'm reading it and I'm interested in it, but I'm not blown away. You know, I'm not going to be referring back to this one. You know, I'm not going to be recommending this to everybody. I'm not going to be referring back to it every other chapter. However, I can 100% see why Jean loved this book, because I feel like it is very much in her sort of wheelhouse of just hit myself in the face then. I feel like it is very much in her wheelhouse of interests in terms of mythology and women's perceptions throughout mythology. So yeah, I'm going to try and I'm currently listening to it, to be honest. I'm audiobooking it, and the audiobook is very good. I would recommend audio if you are going to pick this one up. I think it's really, really good. However, the book does have pictures in it. We've got, oh, we can't see. We've got photos and stuff in here. So yeah, I'm going to pick the book up again in a minute. See, like it's full color sort of photos in here. I'm going to pick the book up again and try and get to my second checkpoint in a bit. But yeah, I'm enjoying the way that I'm reading it, which is I'm reading it via audio, but I've got the book there to refer back to when there's something interesting in there. So yeah, first update. Hi, I'm going to be jumped on by Bracken. It is Monday evening and I finished reading Women's Law. So I've actually audiobooked this whole thing. I didn't read any of it physically, to be totally honest. So first of all, yay, I finished the first book for this vlog. That brings me bang on track on my schedule of when I want to be reading books by, so yay go me. Okay, my thoughts on Women's Law. Similarly to what I was saying earlier, this is a book that if you are interested in women and women's representation across mythology, you'll be interested in this book. If that's not something you're interested in, this book might not be quite such a hit for you. So for me, it was interesting, but I'm not obsessed with it. I don't typically rate non-fiction. If I had to give it a rating, it would probably be around a 3.5, because I feel like it was doing what it set out to do, but what it set out to do isn't necessarily something that I am fully interested and excited by. I did, however, enjoy the last couple of chapters, which were talking about how the monsters that we've sort of discovered throughout the book are represented today. So things like how the story of vampires, again, was like this monster outside is the monstrous woman, and the original vampire, Carmilla, was a woman. Do you mind, Bella? Sorry, I don't know why she's screaming. So yeah, the original vampire was Carmilla, was a woman. And then vampires got kind of taken over by men and became symbols of strength. And also some of the reclaiming of the monsters. So throughout history, mermaids have been mermaids and sirens. They have been symbols of the serpent, of Lilith, the demon, to do with the fall of women. They were the women who are going to be the temptresses, who are going to lead innocent men away from their wives. Whereas now they're much more kind of related to the kind of Disneyfied mermaid image and are princesses and nice and lovely. So I did find it interesting towards the end, particularly. Again, like I said, I don't know if this is a book that I can really recommend, because it's not an area that I have a massive amount of interest in. But if this is an area that you are interested in, if you are interested in mythology, in the way that women are represented throughout mythology, and also seeing how myths have kind of translated from one mythology to the next. So things like how the Lamina was portrayed, and then she became Lilith, and then she became a mermaid, and then she that moved into somewhere else, and just these all sort of things. And that was really interesting. So yeah, if that is an area that you like, I would recommend this book. It's probably not a book for everybody, however. But book one for this vlog down. Thank you very much, Jean. Okay, so my second pick, again, I'm going to pop up here, and that will be Jessi at Jessi Reads. So Jessi, I met through Meg and Meg with Books Patreon. I love Jessi's channel. She's a bit of an everything reader. She reads a lot of like crime, thriller, mystery, but she also dabbles in like fantasy and romance, and yeah, I'm excited. The top books that Jessi had got were We Solve Murders, which I've read already. I'd also written down Ask for Andrea, which I am interested in. But her fourth book of the year is one that I own and is one that I'm very excited to read. And that is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Now, I haven't read Yours Truly, which comes after Part of Your World and before Just for the Summer. That was a really weird way of saying that. I haven't read Yours Truly, but I don't feel like you have to necessarily read them in order. So I am just going to read Just for the Summer, you know, kind of out of order. But yeah, I'm excited. This one is following Justin, who thinks that he is cursed and that everyone he dates, they are fated to meet the one after they break up with him. He meets somebody, Emma, who also believes she has a similar curse, so they agree to date each other, which should nullify said curses. I think it sounds really cute. I'm so excited to read this one. And this is book number 2. Okay, so the next book that I'm reading is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is Jessi's pick. So it wasn't Jessi's top book of the year, but it was in her top 5. I had a few of the books that were in Jessi's like top books, and so this is the one that I picked. I'm so excited. I've wanted to read this. Basically, I wanted to read this since it came out. I was really wanting to read it over the summer because, hello, it is the summer book. But then I was like, oh no, I should probably read Yours Truly first because, you know, let's read them in order. But Yours Truly does intrigue me, but Just for the Summer kind of intrigues me a little bit more. I did really enjoy Part of Your World. The only thing that I didn't love about Part of Your World is the strange kind of like magical element to the story. That part I found a tiny bit jarring, but I'm excited to get going on this one. Yeah, can't wait. This book is about 2 people, Justin and Emma, who both believe that they are cursed, in that everyone that they date, they get broken up with, and their ex then goes on to find the love of their life as, you know, their next partner. So they decide to kind of fake date, or to date to try and break this curse. They're like, well, if we go out, we'll cancel out each other's curses, because if the next person that you're going to find is the love of your life because you dated me, and the next person that I'm going to date is the love of my life because I've dated you, win-win-win. It's supposed to be a quick fling just for the summer. There's a toxic mother, there's guardianship of siblings. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. This feels like it's got so many buzzwords for me. I love a romance that has got like a level of spice. I'm not the biggest fan of clean romances or like super like fun rom-coms, but I really like a romance that has a level of depth and seriousness to it. So yeah, talking about having a toxic mother and assuming guardianship for siblings, that feels like a level of depth that I'm going to get on board with. I'm excited. This is my next read. Hello. So I'm 100 pages into Just for the Summer. I feel like this is potentially going to be a binge read that I may or may not start and finish today. I sat down to read after work. Well, I finished work early, so I started reading about 4 o'clock. It's now 6 o'clock and I'm 100 pages in, so good chance I'm going to just read the whole book today, and I am not mad about that. So we met Emma and Justin. they've both kind of agreed that they're gonna date to break each other's curse. And I think I was saying this yesterday, I really like romances where there is some sort of depth to the characters and there is, something else happening. So Justin, we know, is going to become a guardian. Yeah, guardian for his siblings. Emma's mother has just shown up and she is not nice. So Emma's mum probably has some sort of mental illness, I would guess. It's suggested, that is suggested in the book. I'm not just completely making assumptions. But Emma has said that her mum used to kind of forget about her and would leave. So the first time she left was when Emma was 8, and it ended up being quite a few weeks, and Emma ended up actually running out of food, stealing all the carrots from her neighbour's garden, turning orange and getting sick from eating too many carrots. And by the time Emma was 14, she was fostered by her best friend Maddie's parents. Or I think they became best friends because she was fostered by her parents. I don't know. So yeah, I guess like Emma has her whole life kind of not really had a stable parent figure and has had to care for her mother a lot. So there's a lot of difficult family relationship discussions, which I think is really interesting. And like I said, I like a more kind of complicated character, or a character with, a more complicated or deeper life backstory. So yeah, so far so good. I'm really enjoying it. I am 200 pages through, and yes, I am crying. Justin's mum has just left. She is going to prison, and so she has taken herself off to prison. 'Tis the day. And just sort of breakdown that Justin was having with now having to be effectively a surrogate father for 3 children when his own dad had died only like 4 years ago. And the way that his friends just came and were like, we're with you every single step of the way. I'm going to start crying again. Like, yeah, I mean, you can tell, literal tears. This is really, really good. So good. Kind of wishing that I'd read it earlier, but so good. Yeah, it's fantastic. Like, I'm just loving that, it is so deep and so human. It's like real issues that these characters are facing. It's not just it's not a bit of miscommunication. It's legitimately, like Justin is saying, I want to be with Emma, but I don't have the bandwidth to raise 3 children and also start a relationship. And that's a real concern, and I'm loving it. And I'm going to just carry on reading and probably carry on crying some more as well. I might see you in an hour, probably with more tears rolling down my face. Why is it that each 100-page mark is at an emotional part? Because once again, I'm crying. 300 pages in. Oh my gosh, I love them so much. So Justin is, he's the epitome of, if you wanted to, he would. But also, it's the he fell first trope, and it's basically a single dad trope, and I love Justin with all my heart. and he is the biggest cinnamon roll that I want no pain for ever. I just want to protect him. And Emma I also love. Like, she's fantastic, and I feel like her only problem is trauma. She needs therapy, and that's it. And you know, when you're just like, oh no, because this book is so good. I can't believe I've read 300 pages of it in one sitting, and I'm now debating. It's like 9:30, and I'm debating: do I just finish the book? Do I just stay here and finish the book, or do I go to bed because like it's my bedtime in like half an hour? Do I bring the book to bed? I think that's the answer. Yeah, I think this is going to be a one sit read, and I am completely obsessed. Like, I just can't even. It's so good. I want to read Yours Truly now, because I've been putting this book off because I hadn't read Yours Truly, and I was like, oh well, you know, I'm gonna need to read book 2 before getting into book 3. Obviously, I don't. The characters that book 2 follow have appeared in a cameo, and also the main female character's brother is the best friend of Justin in this one. And there is also the ex from book 1 has also appeared in here. I feel like there might be a couple of other cameos as well. But again, I read Part of Your World 2 years ago. It's been a long time. So I don't remember that one clearly, but I've already messaged like my group chat and been like, girls, yeah, I'll need to read this book and just do it. It's so good. So good. Hi, hello, I'm Jenny, and I cry in every single update. I'm being drawn by Bella here. I've just finished Just for the Summer, and yes, crying again. Why have I been sleeping on this? This is amazing. So much better than Part of Your World. For me, Part of Your World was, I think I gave it like either 4 or 4.5 stars. This one's a 5-star easily. Like, no questions, 5-star, no notes. Characters, beautiful. I loved Emma. I loved Justin. I loved, like I've said all along, the depth to their characters, the fact that they both had difficult situations that they were dealing with. I love the mental health representation with both Emma and Amber. Their relationship I really liked. I liked how it kind of started almost like a friends to lovers, even though they were, you know, strangers when they first met. They weren't like, didn't have an existing friendship, but it started as a sort of, you know, fake date, and they became friends, and then that friendship grew into something more, which again I just adored. The plot was fantastic. I thought it was paced really well. Everything made sense with where it was and how it was happening in the story. I'm really satisfied with the ending. I feel like the way that it was resolved and everything that happened towards the end, I'm found really satisfying. Oh my goodness. I love the ties back to Part of Your World, and I presume Yours Truly. I haven't read Yours Truly yet. I'm just going to rest you on top of Bella's head. Like I said, no notes. It's fantastic. So, yeah, Jessi, great choice. Great option. I've read the whole book in 2 sittings, and this could be a new fave. yeah, amazing. I'm obsessed. Book number 3, we spun the wheel and we got Gavin at Gavin Reads It All. Like his channel name suggests, Gav literally reads it all. I mean, like, I don't think there is anything that Gav doesn't read. I have chosen not his top book. His top book of the year was the whole Lord of the Rings series, and I have read that before, so I'm not going with that one. But I am going with his second top book, which honestly came up so many times on my list of people's top books of the year. And that is, I don't physically own it, I'm going to have to pop a photo up here somewhere, and that is The Will of the Many by James Islington. I am very nervous about this one. I am very scared. Both of those things. Unfortunately, also, this book seems to be very difficult to get hold of for little money. It is not on my library. It is not on my library ebooks or audiobooks. My library do not have it physically. On Kindle, it's like £10 for an ebook. I'm not paying that. It's still like 20 quid for hardbacks. The paperback isn't out. So I have got the audiobook via Audible, which is fine, but I do like to, particularly with fantasy, I do like to read physically. I also can't find this book on Vinted either. So look, I know Will of the Many exists, but for just some reason it's not anywhere where I can access it for not very much money. So this might be one that I have to buy full price and to read alongside the audiobook. I'm going to try it with just audio, but I might not be able to read it all with just audio. Anyway, I am super excited for The Will of the Many. Book number 3. Hello, we are on book number 3. I've got my book sleeve on it, but I will be reading The Will of the Many. So this one is in as one of Gav's favourite books, but literally so many people had The Will of the Many in their top books. I'm just going to check notes. So like I said, I've got it down for Gav. It was Becca's top book of the year. I didn't write everybody down. It was one of Jade's top books of the year. It was one of Wynne from Literary Diversion's top books of the year. Sandra from Got a Thing for Things. That might be it. That's it that I've got written down. But again, I didn't write everybody's like top books down. I wrote like 2 or 3 that I was interested in reading down. So I have very high hopes for Will of the Many because so many people love it. But I'm also terrified of Will of the Many because so many people love it. Hi, Bracken. I'm scared that like I might not. Hi, what do you want? You've had your dinner, haven't you? So go and settle down now. I think she just wants to be involved. Yeah. I'm both excited and terrified for Will of the Many. I'm excited because so many people love it. I'm really scared. It's big. It's high epic fantasy. I'm currently reading Valor. And I've got to get Will of the Many read in about 5 days. I've tabbed it up to read 100 pages a day, which is a really big ask, let's be honest. So that's the plan. I'm not going to get those 100 pages read if I sit here talking to you, am I? So I'd better get reading. Hello. I am exactly 100 pages into The Will of the Many. See, I have started tabbing. All I know about The Will of the Many is that it's like a Roman-inspired fantasy. I haven't read the synopsis, and it's there, and I can't be bothered to read the synopsis. So all I can tell you about the first 100 pages is it's a Roman-inspired fantasy. So we've met Viz, who is on the run. I think he was a prince. His family were murdered and he's now sort of running to survive. I'm not entirely sure. The hierarchy is like the ruling power, and I think it's them that killed his family. He's been adopted by this guy who's Quintus, which means he's very high up in like the hierarchy. And I can't remember. Also, so this is the other thing. I'm reading as I'm listening and I'm reading, and I'm really glad that I bought the book, because I would not be getting this with just audiobook. So Alcesor has made wants Viz to basically kind of be a spy. He wants him to go to this academy and spy on the person who runs it. So I'm guessing we're going to have a magic school kind of system. Maybe not like a magic school, but like a military academy sort of thing. My assumption is it's going to be a military fantasy. I could read the synopsis. I don't want to. But yeah, first 100 pages, I actually got through them fairly quickly. I'm enjoying it so far. It's not entirely gripped me. It's not something that I'm like, oh my God, I can't put it down. I am quite tired. I've had quite a tough week in terms of like personal stuff that's happened. So I am just kind of mentally a bit exhausted at the moment. So this is a book that just, yeah, again, took a bit of brain power to get through. So it wasn't the easiest. It's not been the easiest book to start, but I'm enjoying it. It's interesting so far. That's really all I've got to say, to be totally honest. I feel like, to be honest, I feel like I stopped at a very good stopping point, because I feel like within the next sort of 3 or 4 chapters, he's going to be at the school and the plot will really start. I will say the chapters are very short. I'm on chapter 11, and like I said, I'm exactly 100 pages in, so chapters are about 10 pages, which for a high fantasy is very short, especially when you think, you know, like Robin Hobb can have sort of like 50-page chapters, and even Brandon Sanderson, most chapters are sort of like 30 odd pages. So yeah, short chapters I'm always a fan of. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, to be totally honest with you. I'm enjoying it. It's fine. That sounds bad. That sounds like maybe I'm not enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I don't really know what else to say. Like, I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I don't really know what's happening in the book yet. And I'm tired. I'm probably gonna maybe watch something on YouTube, or like watch an episode of The Office. And then I'm gonna go to bed and have an early night. But I just wanna like watch something just to kind of turn my brain off a little bit before I go to bed. So I will talk to you in the morning. Hi, hello. So I am up to page 300 in The Will of the Many. I am enjoying it. It is really good. So Viz is now at the academy. Hey, Bracken, my darling. You're just being a silly, silly girl, aren't you? Do you just need lots of attention? Have you been an attention seeker? Can you... Thank you, just get off me. So yes, Viz is at the academy, and he's been tasked by Alciador. I'm so bad with the names in this book. I don't know anybody's names. But he's been tasked with by the guy who's like adopted him, to find out what's going on at the academy, because he thinks that there's something happening there. because his brother died in suspicious circumstances a few years ago. So Viz is at the academy. He has already made a few enemies. He has made one friend. Hey, Tally. Sorry, you're just going to look up Bracken's nose here. She's just wanting attention. I have been at 66 books today. Yay. So I've been out for most of the day, and of course now I'm talking, and so Bracken is just wanting extra cuddles and attention, aren't you, my little princess? Yes. So yes. And Viz has just discovered a thing. I'm not going to give spoilers. I'm not going to say what, but something actually super creepy, which seems to be, you know, the thing that we need to uncover. I'm at the halfway point now. I am really enjoying it. I'm audioing it as well as reading it physically, and that is definitely helping. That's definitely my preferred way. I found if I just read it physically, it's not going in. If I'm just audioing it, it's not really going in, but I need to do both. Sorry, you've got more of Bracken's face than anything else. Which is lovely, because you've got a lovely face, don't you? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I did listen to it on my drive to 66 books. So I have, listened to today's section. But so far, so good. I'm enjoying it. I will be honest though, I'm not yet seeing it as the best book of the year, which so many people had this as like their best book of the year. Like I was saying earlier, there was 5 or 6 people on my list for whom this is like their top book of the year. I'm not seeing that yet. Now that might come. I'm just not seeing it yet. But so far so good. I'm enjoying it. Hello. Okay, so I am now at the 400 page mark of The Will of the Many. We are at the training academy. Been there for quite a while now, and Viz has sort of progressed up through the academy, and he's also done some of the investigations that he was meant to be doing. I am getting kind of vibes of A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, and also Jade City by Fonda Lee. So I feel like if you like either of those series, you might enjoy Will of the Many. The kind of the school setting I am enjoying. Hi, go and settle down, Bracken. The school setting I'm enjoying. And similarly to A Deadly Education, it's not like a full-on school. You know, you're not in the lessons very often. You're not actually learning a lot with the characters, which is fine. I feel like there's enough school lesson info dumps that happens that I'm getting that kind of idea of like how the world was created, and like how the world works, but it's not like, you know, the kind of school settings where you're in class with the main character, and so everything that they're learning, you're learning. It's not like that, which again is quite nice. It means that it's not sort of like fully info dumpy. And I feel like Jade City does feel like a little bit of a weird comparison, but the hierarchy and the way that the magic sort of is built in this world does kind of just give me that sort of Jade City vibes, in the way that in Jade City you have your clan head and someone who feeds into them and someone who feeds into them, and it's sort of like, it is very much there's a logic and a system, and that is definitely in play in The Will of Many. So far I am enjoying it. Again, I'm not yet seeing it as a 5-star all-time favorite, but it's a fun read. I'm enjoying it. It's probably like, I'm at page 400, so I'm 60% of the way through. I am having a good time. It's not yet, the best book I've ever read, but also I don't think it needs to be the best book I've ever read. yeah, I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. I don't really know what else to say, if I'm totally honest. That's about it. I'll talk to you when I've read some more. I am up to page 500 in The Will of the Many. See, I've tabbed quite a lot. I've got 100 pages left. I feel like this is going to end on a huge cliffhanger. Like, I know this is just book one in a series, but there's so much. Like, even if we take away the overarching conspiracy plot that's happening, there's so much, even just to get to the end of like the school year, the Eudoxium. I still don't know any of the words. There's so much that needs to be done, but in that time, I am so much more intrigued. I have just read like another 100 pages just this evening. I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'm just gonna sit down and read it, and it's good. You know, sometimes like this is, I find with chunkier fantasies, if I split them up into sections, then I can be like, right, well, I've just got to read 100 pages. I can read 100 pages. 100 pages, it's fine. I don't need to worry about the fact it's a 600-page book. All I'm doing is reading 100 pages. But for this one, I read my day's 100 pages, and then I was like, I'm going to read a little bit more. And yeah, I read tomorrow's pages as well, which is great, because if I can finish the book tomorrow, then that gets me ahead on where I want to be to finish off this vlog in time. But anywho, so much is going on. There is so many like political intrigues happening that I'm really interested. So can you tell? I've got 3 different coloured tabs in here. So the dark blue is the magic. This colour is the magic. The pink is like characters and relationships, and everything else is politics. There is a lot of politics in this book, and I am finding it really, really interesting. I'm enjoying all of that like political intrigue. The one downside that I am having with the book is the Roman setting. I don't like that all of the different levels of the society are different Roman names. You know, that like the teachers in the school are Praetoria. Just even things like, you know, they're mentioned wearing a toga, and I can't even explain why. Like, it doesn't make sense why, but I just don't like it. I just find all of the overly, like I said, Romanesque setting and language, the use of Latin as well. I'm just finding it a little bit, it's not a setting that I'm enjoying. I do also think I'm reading Valor at the same time, this one, and there is a plotline in Valor where they have like gladiatorial fighting pits. And actually, to be fair, that's come up in The Will of the Many as well. Like right at the beginning, Viz was in these like kind of gladiatorial fighting rings sort of thing. So yeah, like I feel like I am learning that Roman inspired settings are not for me. So like I don't know. I think I probably would enjoy The Will of the Many more if it didn't have this Roman setting, because that's just not, it's just not doing it for me. I am enjoying like the military academy sort of vibe. And I think that the magic system is really interesting. I want to find out more about the magic system actually with the use of will, because I understand how, you know, the higher up you get, the more will you get from the people below you. I understand that element, but I still don't actually understand what will is. You know, is that just like energy? Is it strength? I don't really understand that. So I'll talk to you again when I finish the book. Hey, I've just finished reading The Will of the Many, and I don't know what to think. You know how sometimes a book ends in a way and you're just like, wait, what? Not like a cliffhanger and you're like, oh my God, I need to know what happens next. But when you sort of like, yeah, but I'm sorry, what? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my like, rating for Will of the Many is going to be. I don't know my thoughts on it. I obviously can't tell you what's happened at the end, but still I need book 2 like yesterday. I don't think there's even like a release date for book 2. I'm fairly certain it doesn't even have a title. I mean, this hasn't even come out in paperback. It's been out for a year and a half. So, thoughts on The Will of the Many? I don't know. I do want to know, why is it called the Licanius trilogy? I don't think we've come across anything called Licanius. Lycaria is a territory. I don't think we've been there. That's interesting. I want to know what Licanius means. My gob is smacked. My flabber is gasted. I have no words. I am going to go to bed though, because it's like 10:30 and I had to just stay up and finish reading. So I'm going to come back tomorrow and I will have thought about it and tell you my rating for The Will of the Many. I get it. I get why it's so many people's favourites. The way it has ended, I can't not be obsessed. However, there was a lot where I was like not fully obsessed. Very well written. I definitely want to read James Islington's other series, the dragon one. I don't think it is dragons. The Shadow of What Was Lost. Is that what it's called? Yeah, the end. Yes, that is it. What have I just read? Okay, we are on to book number 4. Let's spin the wheel. And we got Jade at Jade Rae Reads. So Jade reads a lot of epic fantasy. And her top book of the year was, unsurprisingly, Play of Shadows by Sebastian de Castell. I've not read anything by Sebastian de Castell, and so I think that Play of Shadows is part of a series, so I didn't want to like jump in here. Her second favourite book of the year, Will of the Many. We've just seen, I've read it. So I'm going with her third top book of the year, which is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. This book, do you know what? I clearly live underneath a rock, because I feel like this came out of nowhere and suddenly everybody was reading and loving this book. I don't actually know very much about what it's about. I think it's a fantasy murder mystery. But I do hear so many fantastic things about it. I'm excited to get to it, even though like I don't really know a huge amount about it. So Tainted Cup is book number 4. Hello, it's Thursday evening, so I actually haven't updated you for the last couple of days. So next book that I'm supposed to be reading is Tainted Cup, and this was Jade's pick. Quite a few people actually had this in some of their top books of 2024. I'm 100 pages in. I'm softy enough in. So, right, okay. Thoughts. First of all, I started this one straight after The Will of the Many, and I read the first chapter and I was like, it seems to have got that same sort of Roman inspired political space. So I was like, no, do you know what? I'll give myself a break. So I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care instead yesterday, because I just sort of was thinking, it's not, you know, yeah, I wanted a break between the two books that both had similar, I guess, language used in terms of, and like to describe like the politics and things like that. Today I read up to page 100. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on with the magic. I don't understand the world. So we've met our guy who works for this woman who is like an investigator. There seems to be an investigator in each of like the cities, areas, I don't know. This man has died because a plant has sort of just grown through him, which is cool magic, like that's quite cool. But then I don't really understand how like the plants work in this world. I don't understand how the world works. They're talking about a Leviathan is getting to the sea walls, and I'm like, I don't understand what that is. Like, I'm just very confused. I'm looking at the map at the moment. I'm just very confused, and not confused in a way where I'm like, this is just, like, I don't know. I'm just confused. So I'm gonna softy enough. I'm not gonna, I want to try it again. It is gonna, but I don't want to read it right now. It's gonna go on my 2026 self-destruct pile. So one of the books that if I haven't read it by the end of next year, then it will be self-destructed. So I'm giving it like, you know, giving it its chance. It's just not doing it for me right now, unfortunately. Yeah, that first 100 pages actually was a massive struggle to read. And like I said, if I'm 100 pages in, so that's 25% through the book, I don't understand the world. I don't understand anything that's happening. I'm not connected to any of the characters. The plot might be interesting, but it's not. I feel like the plot that we've got at the moment is gonna end super quickly. Which then leads me to think, well, what's the overarching plot? So yeah, unfortunately, The Tainted Cup is a no from me. I do feel really, really bad because this is a favourites video. And I'm not only not reading someone's favourite, I don't know, I do feel like 100 pages is giving a book a fair shot. I always feel bad when I DNF when someone's really loved the book. But yeah, it's just not working for me. So it is, like, it's not going to be like a hard DNF. I'm not unhauling it. It's a soft DNF. I will pick it up again at some point in the future, but not right now. Finally, for this vlog, book number 5, let's spin the wheel. And we got Steph at Steph Loves. So I knew from seeing like just the thumbnail of what is Steph's top book of the year, I knew exactly what her number 1 book of the year is going to be. Because back in the start of the year, I think it was like, I don't know, this is very weird that I remember when Steph read this book, but I think it was like sort of February, March. It was early in the year. She read a book that got 10s across the board on Core Pile. That is unbeatable, let's be honest. Core Pile is the same rating system that I use, so I'm very excited to see how this one holds up. Other options on Steph's list were And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer, which I do want to read, but I don't own it. Jumpstart, which is an F1 romance, I don't own it. Business Casual, which I do want to read, but I'm not up to it yet in the Love Like Farm series. But her #1 book of the year, and again, no surprises, and there was no question that I was going to be reading this one, is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I had bought this book after watching Steph's original reading vlog when she read this book. And I think she read it because she was like, why is a book this thick? What business does a romance book have of being 800 pages? I also asked that question. I am excited and scared to read this. I feel like I have quite a similar reading taste to Steph in terms of romance, so I'm excited. This one is I don't think you'd call it a sports romance. I don't really know, but it follows this guy who is a rugby player and this girl who has been bullied at like every school she's been to. She's started this school for like a new start, but she ends up being hit in the face by the rugby ball thrown by Johnny, and it becomes then friends to lovers. I'm very excited. So that is book number 5. Hi, I am on my final book of this vlog, which is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. So this one was Steph's pick. It was her top book of last year, and she rated it 10s across the board on Core Pile, like perfection. I am already 100 pages in. I was going to update you this morning before I started reading it, but then I didn't, and I'm really loving it. Okay, so first of all, I am a big rugby fan, and the fact that we've got a Dublin boy who is like a rugby star called Johnny, in my mind, this is Johnny Sexton fanfic. And like, Johnny Sexton is an incredible rugby player. He's not necessarily like my cup of tea, but incredible rugby player. So I might have to change who I picture so it's not Johnny Sexton, but in my head this is Johnny Sexton fanfic. So yeah, like I said, I'm 100 pages in. We've met Shannon and Johnny. Shannon is horrifically bullied at school, and so her mum has taken her out of school and she's now going to this private school. Shannon's been taken out of school and now is going to this private school, and on her first day she takes a shortcut across the rugby pitches, and Johnny, who is the captain of the rugby team, kicks a ball and it hits her in the back of the head, gives her a concussion. And so Johnny is absolutely devastated. He is mortified with the fact that he's hurt this girl who seems to be beyond upset by being hurt, and is, and he's really curious about her. She is only 15, he is 17. So already he's basically warned off everybody in the team and said she is a child. No, absolutely not. No one can touch her. Obviously this will be a romance between the two of them. But I do quite like the fact that, straight away in their first meeting, he has immediately gone, no, she's too young, she's underage, straight no. I believe that it stays like this and they don't get together until she is of age. But yeah, I like the fact that it's that clear. I'm really enjoying Johnny. He is like a rugby prodigy. He's been like basically coached to be the next big rugby star since he was a child, and he sort of said a few times that he never had a childhood. He's only ever played rugby. I'm really enjoying that kind of side, and seeing that as well. He has currently got an injury as well, which again we're sort of talking about, like how much he has to put his own body on the line. Yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. It is Friday today. It's kind of like 2 o'clock, I think, at the moment. So I finished work for the day. I finished work for the week, and I think my plan is, I'll be honest, I'm probably going to just sit and binge read this. I mean, it's Valentine's Day. I've got nothing better to do. Hi, Single Pringle over here. So I may as well read like the world's chunkiest romance book, right? So yeah, I'm enjoying what I've read so far. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just read through it, and I don't think I'm gonna finish it today. I think reading an 800-page book in one day is a bit ridiculous, but I would like to try and get it read this weekend. Hi, it's 8:30, same night. I'm 500 pages through. This is really, really good. I am absolutely loving Johnny and Shannon. I want to protect Shannon with everything. So as I was saying earlier, Shannon was severely bullied at her old school, but also she comes from a very abusive home where her father physically abuses her. Her mother is borderline neglectful. Her oldest brother has left due to her father's abuse, and so it's her other oldest brother who's kind of stepping in, and he's the one who is trying to basically protect Shannon and her three younger brothers from their father. Johnny, I also just want to protect at all costs. He's so... Oh, the only thing that I don't like about Johnny is that he is so protective of Shannon to a point where it's a little bit not it's not okay. So, for example, he's met one of Shannon's bullies from her old school. She made some sort of comment, and so Johnny beat up her boyfriend, with the point being, well, I can't hit the girl, so I'm going to hit you instead. And I'm just like, yeah, no. That's not an acceptable answer, you know. Yeah, the girl made Shannon's life absolute misery. She's a horrible person, but her boyfriend isn't. Well, he might be, but her boyfriend isn't the one who did any of those things. And then he threatened another guy, saying like, if your girlfriend ever talks to Shannon, if she ever does anything to Shannon, you'll be getting every single hit on your face. And it's like, no, that I don't like. Yeah, so that part I don't like, but everything else, yes. It is also the slowest of the slow burn. We know that they both fancy each other, but I mean, I'm 500 pages through. Johnny is still very much trying to kind of tell everybody, oh, I can't be with her, she's too young, blah, blah, blah. And Shannon's too... I'm going to say immature, but that's not really the word I mean. She's too scared, she's insecure, and so even though she fancies Johnny, she doesn't necessarily want to do anything with him or like make a move, because she's also just quite like scared of rejection, I think, as well, and doesn't really... I mean, she hasn't ever had any kind of positive friendship or relationship in her life. So yeah, I love the characters. I am loving the plot so far. I mean, it's 8:30. I'm probably just going to carry on reading, but is it a bit ridiculous if I read an 800-page book in one sitting? Yes. Is it going to happen? Strong possibility. It's 11:30. I finished it. I've read an 800-page book in one sitting. I didn't intend to read an 800-page book in one sitting. I get it. This book is fantastic, and tomorrow I will be going to the works and I will be buying the sequel. Incredible, amazing. I did cry at the end. I cry a lot. I mean, like, this is about the 20th time you've seen me cry in this vlog, so you know, hey. Yeah, I did cry at the end. I loved it. I really loved it. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like Johnny has some strange views on like feminism, because he's very much, you know, saying, oh, well, you can't call a girl these names, you know, just because you are a female doesn't mean that you are expected to cook, to clean, all of this, you know. But then he's sort of saying, well, if your girl says something, then I will beat up the boyfriend. And it's like, well, hang on, so which suggests that he thinks that the boyfriend has got then that control over the woman, over his girlfriend, to sort of, you know, say what she can and can't do. So yeah, that's the only part that I just didn't really like. But I love Johnny and Shannon. I adore them. I love her brother, Jerry. He is incredible. I think I really love Gibbsy. I did have a look, and I think, I don't know if it's the next series or the, like, I don't know if it's 6 or 7. I think it's whatever the 7 series is. So like, which I think is book 5. The third duology, I think that follows Gibbsy, which I love. But yeah, I had a great time. I had a really fantastic time. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. I loved it. Absolutely agree with Steph. This book is fantastic. I'm not sure if it's good. It's not going to get 10s across the boards from me, because, like I said, I do have issues with some of the way that Johnny acts. But this book is fantastic. I loved it. And that is the last book for this vlog. So I feel like this has been pretty successful. So we started off with Jean's pick of Women's Law, which I gave about 3 stars. Then we had Jessi with Just for the Summer, which I gave 5 stars. Gav with The Will of the Many with 4.5 stars. Jade, The Tainted Cup, which I have soft DNF'd. And then finally Steph with Binding 13. I'll give it, it's going to be a 5 star. So I feel like that's a successful, I feel like that's overall is a success. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of the books that I've read in this vlog. Let me know if you'd like me to do this again, because I'm thinking I might do like round 2 next month with 5 new picks. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. And yeah, if you have made it this far, leave me the broken heart emoji for Binding 13, and I'm going to go to bed now, but I'll see you in the next one. Bye.